All right, guys, what's up? Uh, Proverbs says, "Vanity, vanity, all is vanity. Tevel, tevel, all is tevel." I think it's like that. I think that was the Hebrew. I don't know. I messed it up. Anyways, Proverbs, right, is the book of wisdom in the Bible. There's 66 books, chapters, whatever you want to call it. Like, the name's not important. The idea behind the name is important. So, let's study this, right? So, tevel, tevel, all is tevel, right? Vanity, vanity, all is vanity. Everything we do is vanity. Me making this video is vanity in and of itself. So that idea of vanity in and of itself is like consciousness capturing consciousness, right? So I want you to think of that. Conscious capturing consciousness. Okay? So the point is, not yet. So the point is, so the point is, right? The point is to go ahead. The point is to go ahead and like understand, right? So Proverbs is the idea of the book of wisdom. So it's the wisdom chapter in the book, right? Okay. So King David, right? What I read to you before was Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He make me lie in green pastures. Though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. All right. The Lord, something like that. I might have butchered it. But the whole idea, guys, we're just going to talk about the first two sentences. Because that thing is heavy, bro. That thing is so heavy. Like, damn. Shit's heavy for real. Oh. So, what's heavy about it is the Lord is my shepherd. So when you study the Bible, you got to realize that it was at a different time frame. Okay, so nowadays we have cars. Back then they had horses, right? Like the horses were the cars. As a matter of fact, when they built cars, they went ahead and they said, well, how much horsepower does it have? They literally came up with a calculation or a unit of measurement to go ahead and calculate the amount of power, right? So essentially, okay, essentially what they did was they wanted to go ahead and measure, like, okay, how many horses is equivalent to, like, how fast can it run, how long can it run, like gasoline, diesel, like blah 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 blah, right? But the Lord is my shepherd, which brings us to a different time frame. Okay, the time frame was basically where a lot of people were farmers, right? If you don't know the history of America, a lot of people, okay, were farmers. Most of the people were farmers, right? That's how we changed history. Instead of being hunters and gatherers, we evolved to civilizations, right? And how did we get civilizations? First, we had to work off the backbone of farmers, people that can go ahead and sustain a certain amount of food supply at a certain amount of time continuously to the point where they can trust on it, to the point where they can build a civilization, right? Which is completely different from actual like hunters and gatherers, right? Completely different from hunters and gatherers, right? Because hunters and gatherers, you were literally hunting and you were gathering and you were moving. Hunting, you were gathering, right? So the whole civilization was built on the backbone of farmers, my point, right? So the Lord is my shepherd. Why shepherd, right? Because a shepherd is essentially someone who goes ahead and is responsible for the animals on the farm. In this case, it would literally be the sheep. So you would be responsible for the sheep, okay? So, as you being responsible for the sheep, right, you were literally going ahead and guiding the sheep, right? You would protect the sheep, you would guide the sheep, you would go ahead and once again, you would wake up, protect the sheep, and guide the sheep, right? Because you were worried about those wolves. You were worried about those wolves going ahead and taking your sheep, right? So, long story short, like you were worried about the wolves taking your sheep, so you would go ahead and have to guide them. You would have to protect them, right? And Scripture says that God is literally so merciful and He's so lovable and He's so literally like, hey, like I would leave my 99 obedient sheep just to go get that one disobedient sheep. Damn. Are you listening to what I'm saying, bro? Like, God would leave his 99 obedient sheep, right? Like, hey, sit, stay, right? And he would go get that other sheep. So, are you listening to what I'm saying? God was so obedient. No, 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 no. God is so loving to who is obedient that he can trust to just leave him there. Like, all right, dude, I'll leave you here. You, okay, I gotta go get that one sheep that's disobedient just to complete my 100. No? Are you sure? Right? And, like, listen to what I'm saying. God left his 99 sheep to go get his one sheep. Right? Like, dude, that's powerful, you know? Like, he's gonna go ahead, he's willing to trust the 99, or he's willing to put them in almost in danger, right? Because if the shepherd's not there, who's gonna protect from the wolves, right? But he's still gonna go hunt down his one. He's still gonna go get that 100th, because he knows he has 99 protected, but he's trying to get to that one. And that's not like me talking, that's literally me regurgitating what the Bible said, right? And it's pretty interesting in that regard, right? So the Lord is my shepherd, right? So that's going ahead and that's amplifying the idea of history before, right? The idea of history before, which was you literally go ahead, okay? You literally go ahead and you realize that the shepherds were an important part, right? They were an important part in civilization, they're an important part in history, and not only that, but their job was to go ahead and attend to the sheep. And that the Spirit of Jesus, right? Because we're talking about the Bible. Spirit of Jesus is willing to leave his 99 just to go get his one, right? So what does that mean? I think like in a psychological sense, that means that you literally go ahead and, dude, that's tough, bro, right? But in a psychological sense, it means that you're all in or you're all out. Like you have to almost be an extremist. Like, dude, I know, like, I was talking about philosophy, and when I was in my undergrad, we talked about a philosophy in regards to, uh, I don't know what it was. It was a different type of philosophy. The whole point was like, all right, dude, here's the deal. You can kill 5 people or you can kill one. I was like, motherfucker, back up. I don't want to kill anyone, right? Like no, 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 no. Here's the idea. The idea is that the train is destined to hit these 5 people, or the train has an option for track B to hit one person, right? So this is a philosophical or a philosophy question, right? Like, are you willing to change the lever from it to go to A to B, right? Remember, this is just a parable for a parable, right? Are you willing to change the lever for point A to point B, right? So the train is going, it's not going to stop, and it's en route for track A. And on track A, there's 5 people. On track B, there's one person, right? And you go ahead and you're like destiny, whatever you want to call it, right? Technically, it's on track A, and it was supposed to be on track A at that time. But the only variable we introduced was you into the equation where you can change it from track A to track B. And on track B, there's just one person, right? One person. One person. On track A, there's just one person, all right? So you can go from track A to track B. And the cool thing is, like, you have that opportunity. So basically, if you don't do anything, train is going to go on track A. If you do something, the train is going to go on track B, right? Because the only option you have is binary. Either you move the lever or you don't move the lever, right? And like, to answer that philosophical question, it was like, damn, right? Like, the psychology of what you would consider gospel, scripture, the word, the idea, or at least at the minimum of what an individual can synthesize from this whole paradigm, you can at least say Jesus, at least, was willing to risk his 99 to go get his one. Because at the minimum, at least what I can synthesize from that parable, from that literature, from the essence of the story, is like he was willing to risk his 99 for the one. I think the bigger question is, why would he be willing to risk the 99 for the one? That's an interesting question. And I don't know the answer.